The Columbia Gorge recently earned recognition as an AVA apart from the greater Columbia Valley. The area straddles the Columbia River for 20 miles from Hood River to the Dalles, including both Oregon and Washington vineyards. Surrounding cliffs rise sharply from the riverbanks, reaching 3,000 to 4,000 foot elevations. When those incredible torrents from the Missoula floods reached the narrow gorge, the water backed up again and rose to a height of 1,000 feet or more before rushing onward to the sea. Because of the severe scouring of these lands by the repeated massive floods, the soils of the Columbia Gorge are generally thin. The region has two distinct climates, the wet, green western end and the dry, golden eastern end.
This Columbia Gorge area is a very exciting new appellation for wine grape production, and it has quite a different character to it than any other AVA in the state, in part because the rainfall gradient along the Columbia Gorge is so extreme. In the drier parts of the Columbia Gorge AVA, there's only about 10 or 12 inches of rainfall, and in the wettest parts of the Columbia Gorge AVA, there are 70 or 80 inches of rainfall. So you go from sagebrush and oak scrub all the way to Doug fir forest. Just a tremendous range of opportunities for growing wine grapes in cool, moist, Alsatian kinds of growing conditions, all the way to very hot and dry conditions, more similar to, say, parts of Spain or parts of Italy.
So it ranges in elevation from 500 feet up to 1,300 feet and even higher, which this elevation is really important because elevation will give you different acidity levels. You get cooler as you go higher up, gives you different fruit structures, and of course different soils. So down in the Columbia Gorge, they're growing everything from Zinfandel to Pinot Noir and a number of white grape varieties, so incredible diversity. But if you look at the Zinfandel coming out of the Columbia Gorge, it's got that great zin, zesty character, a lot going on there. But it has that Washington mark of terroir. It's got that vibrant fruit and that acidity that we love so much here in Washington.
In addition, the soils and the geology in the Columbia Gorge change character as you go down the gorge as well. In the drier eastern part of the Columbia Gorge AVA, the landscapes and the soils are very strongly related to the floods from Lake Missoula that came down through that area on their way to the Pacific Ocean. But as you get into the area around White Salmon, Washington, and Underwood Mountain, in the wetter parts of the Washington side of the Columbia Gorge AVA, the soils are very much derived from lava flows and mud flows and materials from the Mount Adams volcano, which lies about 60 miles to the north. In the high rainfall part of the Columbia Gorge AVA are very much a volcanic character, which I think will prove to impart a very different character to the wine grapes.
One of the gorge's newest vineyards, Underwood Mountain, was planted on the steep slopes of Underwood Mountain, at the point where the cool marine climate begins to change to the warm, dry eastern climate. Owners Joe and Vicki Brady are growing several Pinot Noir clones, as well as Chardonnay and other varietals.
Underwood Mountain is a cinder cone, and we're halfway up it right now. And we have good air drainage because the air is flowing right off the side of the hillside and flowing down over the gorge right into the river. And the Columbia River has a great calming effect for the air temperature also. So it's very moderating. And we don't have a big issue here with freezes either because of this airflow. Purpose of the bird netting is to keep the turkeys out of the grapes. No, they're wild turkeys. There's probably a couple hundred of them around here.
A couple hundred wild turkeys?
Couple hundred of them.
What's your favorite grape that they like to eat?
I think it's these Pinots. But the favorite grape they like to eat now are these Chardonnays down here on Celilo Vineyard.
Great. Excellent drainage forces grapevine roots to grow deep.
So you can see it's been raining the last couple days quite a bit, and the soil drains so well. I mean, it's just like it won't even stick together. It's still pretty dry. It's almost like a flower in a way. For every mile you start progressing eastward from, say, Stevenson, you're losing about an inch per mile of annual rainfall.
The Columbia Gorge is home to a number of prominent vineyards, including Celilo, Marshalls, and Cascade Cliffs.